Hey everybody, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this feather butterfly shawl. And this butterfly shawl is the 10th one in the series. I had debated whether or not to make a book. I'm still not 100% sure, but my husband asked me, do I plan on continuing to make more butterfly shawls? And I said, yeah, of course. So he thinks that maybe it'd be a bad idea to make a book, because then some people may think some butterfly shawls are in there that's not, and it could cause issues. Plus, I don't have a way to distribute, because the shops that I use right now won't let you put a book on there or a file on there that big. So for now, I'm just going to continue to sell them individually, so unless something else comes up. But this is number 10, and for the number 10 one, I wanted to do something a bit more special. So I tried to use a stitch that actually resembled little butterflies. This is upside down, so maybe if I turn it like this, see, they look like little butterflies. I thought, oh, I gotta make something out of this. So I decided I would make the 10th butterfly shawl with this stitch. So I did this whole shawl using a skein, a yarn cake, sorry. It's a yarn cake like this. It's from the same company, Yarn Art, from their flowers. I bought all these at the beginning when these were big, so I still have like 10 of them. So these may start to get out of stock. I don't know if you can find this flowers one anymore from Yarn Art, but I'm sure you can find a lot, because they're coming out and they're looking even better and better and better. This was a whole, and this is a 1,000-meter skein. Says 1,000 meters, which is 1,093 yards. It's 250 grams and 0.8 ounces. But you can find out all the information you want about this yarn on my website. I'll put the exact yarn cake that I used on there and everything you need to know about this. But this shawl was made using the whole thing. I just crocheted until I ran out of yarn. And this fits my daughter, who is 14. It fits her perfectly. For me, I'm a little bigger, so I would prefer a shawl like the V-stitch butterfly shawl, something really big like that. But I can still fit this one. It's just like it's a short shawl. So to make this shawl, like I said, you need the yarn cake, but you also are going to need a 4mm hook, which is a size G hook for the US. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to be using a thicker ply yarn, and I'm going to be using a 5mm hook. But this just for the tutorial, so you can see the stitches and everything really easily. So go ahead and grab those supplies, and I will see you in a minute. Oh, I wanted to mention real quick that the size of my shawl was 49 inches wide, or 124 centimeters wide, and the tallness of it was 23 inches or 59 centimeters. Okay, so to start, you want to chain 3, and then you're going to slip stitch in this very first chain and hold. I like to hold my chain here so I don't lose it, and then you'll chain 3, and this will be row 1. So for row 1, you want to double crochet 6 into this ring. This chain 3 here will count as a stitch, so the total stitches for this row will be 7. So go ahead and double crochet 6. And I also like to go ahead and go over my tail. Actually, with the shawl, I don't do that because it's not tightening of the round, so you don't actually have to work over your tail. Put your 6 double crochets in your ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 4, 6, 7, because of the chain. So I have 7 stitches total. Okay, for round 2, you want to chain 3 and turn. Now in the same beginning stitch, you want to put another double crochet, and then chain 2, and then again in the same stitch put 2 more double crochets. Then you're going to skip the next stitch, next post, and then the following one you're going to put, let me just make sure here, skip a stitch, then double crochet. You're going to repeat the same thing for the rest of the row. You're going to skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets back into that same stitch. I like to follow along just to make sure that I'm getting the right. See, this one is the one that I just worked the shell in. Then we're going to skip this next one. So then the next stitch, you want to repeat the double crochet 2, chain 2, and double crochet 2, all worked into that same stitch. Then you'll skip the next, and then this ending chain, you'll put your 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets worked in that top ending chain. And that gives you 4 individual little spaces. Okay, for row 3, I don't know if I'm too close here. Okay, so you want to chain 3 and turn. Now this chain 3 counts as a stitch, and we're going to be working in our spaces and the spaces between the 2 shells here. So we have a shell here and a shell here, or a butterfly and a butterfly. We're going to be working in between as well as in the chain 2 spaces. We're going to be doing, this is an increase row. The chain 3 counts as the first double crochet, so you want to put your second double crochet in the chain 2 space. So you'll put 1 double crochet in the chain 2 space. Then you're going to chain 2, and you're going to put 2 more double crochets in that same space. So it's just like you were doing before, but the chain 3 will count as that second part of the shell. But from now on, in all the spaces in between and in the spaces, all these spaces you're in this row, you're going to be putting 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So again, in the space between the stitches, this is some old yarn I'm using, so it likes to twist on me. Put 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then in that same space, put 2 more double crochets. Then find the space in between the shells, this one, and again, put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Then in the next one, two double crochets, chain 2, then 2 double crochets. Ah, my yarn is getting so old. I really need to trash this yarn. This is my last space in between the shells. I think I'm going to throw this yarn away after this tutorial is over. This will be its last job. Okay, in the last stitch here, we put my last 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so that was the end of row 3. So for row 4, you want to chain 3. I believe it's chain 3 always. Now chain 3 and turn. Then you're going to double crochet. You're going to be increasing your double crochets this row. You're going to be putting 3 in this first one. Remember, this chain counts, so essentially you have 3 already just by putting 2 double crochets in that first stitch. You'll chain 2, and then now you'll double crochet 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And this is not an increase row, so you will only be using these stitches of the shell in between. Not in between the shells, just the shells themselves, that chain 2 space in the shells. So move over to that next chain 2 space, and you'll put 3 double crochets in it, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. And you will repeat this for the row. Continue to put in your chain 2 spaces only, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and I'll see you at the end of row 4. Just finishing my final 3 double crochets in my last shell here, and that ends row 4. So rows 5 and 6 will be done exactly the same way. And you want to chain 3, and you'll be putting 4 like you did. You did 3, you've done 2, now we're going to be increasing it again. Remember, this chain 2, the chain 3 always counts as a stitch. So if you're needing to put 4, you're doing it in sets of 4 now, then you want to at least do the very first one only 3 double crochets, because you need to count this as the 4th. So then you'll chain 2, and then you'll put 4. If you don't count it as a stitch, then you're gonna be adding here, and you don't want to do that. If you find that this is a little bit too much for you, then you can make it a chain 2 instead of a chain 3, because it's just for the border. So if it's too floppy for you there, then do chain 2s instead of chain 3s. So we did our double crochet 3, counting this is 4, chain 2, double crochet 4, move over to your next petal of your shell, and you'll do 4 double crochets. I want to call them butterflies, but I don't know if you will confuse you or not. Okay, so I got 4 double crochets, chain 2, and then 4 more double crochets in the same space. And again, only on increased rows you use the space in between the shells or the butterflies. So, but this is not an increased row, and neither is 6. So rows 5 and 6, you're only going to be using these little spaces in between. I'll call them butterflies, in between the butterfly wings. So go ahead and put double crochet 4, chain 2, double crochet 4 in each one for row 5, and then chain 3 and turn, and then do the exact same thing again. You'll put 3 at the beginning, because remember your chain will count. Then you'll chain 2, put 4, and then each one you'll put double crochet 4, chain 2, double crochet 4, and continue that to the end. So I'm going to see you at the end of row 6. Okay, so this is what it looks like at the end of row 6. And remember that this last one is the chain that fits with the double crochet. So be careful, don't put a butterfly in that one. So now for row 7, we're going to be doing the exact same thing that we did. And this shawl is pretty much the exact same thing. But this time we're going to be, for row 7, it's going to be double crochet 5. So we're increasing again our amount of double crochets. But remember, the very first stitch, you'll put only 4 because the chain counts, chain 2, and then double crochet 5 into this space. And you'll want to do that with all your butterflies down your row. So continue to put double crochet 5, chain 2, double crochet 5, and you're again only going to be working in our actual butterfly area. This is not an increase row. So continue to do that for row 7, and I'll see you when you get to the end. Okay, so this is the end of row 7. As you can see, I have my 5 double crochet butterflies here. And for row 8 is going to be an increase row. So let me go ahead and show you that real quick. So for row 8, you're going to chain 3 and turn. Then you're going to double crochet in this first chain 2 space. Then chain 2, and then put 2 double crochets in this chain 2 space. So with the chain, you have your 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets. And you're going to, on an increase row, you're going to be working in the spaces between the butterflies too. So you're going to be working here, then here, then here, then here. But it's going to be just 2 double crochets, chain 2, then 2 double crochets. So then in the next, in my peak area, do my 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then in the space between, do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So go ahead and do that for this row, row 8, and I'll see you when you get to the end. And I ran out of my tutorial yarn I was using. I was hoping I'd at least get to the end of this row, because this is the last row I really need to show you. Wanted to show you the increase row, which I just did with the 2 double crochets worked in between and in. And that is on row 8. Row 8 is an increase row, and then you'll have another one more later. I'll show you in a second. I just want to tell you that for row 9, which is the next one, you're going to go back to using only the peak areas. Well, actually the only peak areas. You have these now too. So in between those two is now the extra. So you're going to be using each one. So in between each double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in this next row, row 9, you're going to be increasing again. Not increasing, but increasing the number of double crochets you use. So for row 9, you'll chain 3 and turn, and then in the first, which is this one, because that's your chain 3 space, so don't use that, you'll put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Except for the first one here, you'll put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, because the chain 3 will count. Then you'll move over to your next chain 2 space and put your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and you'll continue that all the way to the end. And then for 10 and 11, we're going to do like we did for rows 5 and 6. You'll have 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets in all of your spaces. So it's basically just going to be a repeat. And then you'll have the last row that we did with the 5 double crochets, chain 2, 5 double crochets. But then you'll have actually an increase after that. So instead of doing like we just did, the 5 double crochets, chain 2, 5 double crochets, and then you did an increase, you'll actually do the next row, which will be 6 double crochets, chain 2, 6 double crochets, and you'll do that for rows 14 and 15. And I'm gonna, to write on this tutorial here, I'll put up something so you can easily follow. But there's no need for me to go through every single row just to add one more. I mean, it's super simple. By now you know which stitches you're working in and how to do an increase. So that is what you'll have to continue doing. Now I want to show you on this actual shawl here. As you can see, maybe you can see, this is what the row that I just showed you. This is row 8. When you increase your row by putting 2 in each, in between and in the actual butterfly. So that's like row 8. And then for row 9 up to, you increase up to 6. So you have 2 rows of double crochet 4, a row of double crochet 5, you do a row of double crochet 6, and then you'll do another increase row, which falls on row 4. It says for row 16 through 21, you're going to be repeating rows 8 through 13, which is basically taking you up to where you have double crochet 5 again. And then for rows 22 through 25, you'll basically be doing your double crochet, getting caught in the corner here, you'll be doing double crochet 6 for 5 rows before you'll have to increase again. And then once you increase one more time, back up. Then when you increase that last time, it's just double crochet 6. Once you have to even, you're gonna have to do the build up. So you'll have your increase, which the increase rows, you know, are 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets worked in the thing and in between. So once you've got that done, you'll be building up. So the next will be 3 double crochets, then the next will be 4 double crochets, and then it looks like, then you do another 4 double crochets, just like we were doing before. And then you'll do 5 double crochets, and then after that it's just 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 until you run out of yarn. So you can clearly see there's 1 increase, 2 increases, and then 3 increases, and this is the increase we just did. So basically you're going to do another build up of 2, then 3, then 4, 4, 5, 6, then do an increase, and then you do it again. 3, then 4, then 4, then 5, then 6, and then you'll do 6 for these last 5 rows here until you get to do the increase again. But then after you do that, you build back up to 6 again, and then you just keep doing 6 over and over and over again. It's super easy. And I hope that I explained it. I hope I over-explained it, because if I over-explained it, it means that you understood what I was saying. And that's what I go for. I'd rather over-explain than under-explain. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to like and share. It helps me out so much. Be sure to go check out the other 9 butterfly shawls that I have right now. I'm still planning on making a tutorial for one of the butterfly shawls that I haven't done yet. I think it's the Emperor one. So you can look forward to that one coming out. I'm going to try to get that done sometime this week. Also, you can find out about the yarn, like I said, on the channel. You can find all the links down below in social media. On Facebook, I'm the most active. I post and share pictures patterns every day, not just mine, but others too. And at the end of the week, I put something together called a Week in Review, where I share with everyone the top 3 shared patterns of that week. And I also put it in my newsletter. So if you don't do Facebook, you can still get access to that by signing up for my Facebook page. You'll get a roundup, my newest pattern or the pattern that's doing the best that week of mine, and then the week in review. So I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll sign up for my newsletter. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.